So welcome back, guys. This is another video. It's an update on the robotic hand that I've been building. I'm sorry for not posting in a long time. There was a problem with the shipment of my servo motors, and so I had to delay all of this. And I initially was going to make a video, like a middle step, just before finishing the entire thing, showing off the fingers. But I just decided to not to, and then finish everything, and then have the actual finished product here today to show you. So we'll be showing you the hand later in the video. The first part is going to be me actually talking about the CAD and everything. I'll then briefly talk about the code because I feel like a lot of people won't really care, and then I'll actually show the finished product. Okay, so our palm is split up into three parts. This part here holds the thumb, this is your mid part that just connects the other two, and this holds your other four fingers. This is the servo box where the servo would go. Essentially, you pop in your servo here, you connect the arm on this side, you connect another thing here, and then you're good to go. This normally, from this side, you would pop it into here, and they should stick in there. Mostly, you don't have to use glue, but in some cases I did have to use glue just for them to stick better. You have four fingers here, one here, as I said. It's split up into three parts, so if I show you the parts right here, we have this part, and I made this little design here that way you can slide it in, and so that way it doesn't slip out and you can connect the entire hand. I then also applied some super glue in this kind of area right here so it sticks even better. And that's mostly it for the CAD. There's nothing too complicated here. Just the design took some thinking to do. I think the hardest part was probably this part right here because of the fact that I had to just look at how my hand would function, and I tried making it as realistic as possible, as I don't have another servo motor hidden under here that would spin it, so I can't make too much change on my thumb. So that's really it. Now let's move on to the code part. Okay, so now I'm going to be showing you the code. So the code is split up into two different parts. At the early stage of this project, I decided to make the hand wireless. So it would be using radio transmitters and receivers to actually get the code that it needs, so the information that it needs from my sensors, in this case it's potentiometers. A little sneak peek, I will be making it even better, and I'll probably make a video on it, but I won't say too much about it now. But essentially, our receiver is the Arduino that will be controlling our hand, and then the transmitter is the other Arduino actually that will be controlling the potentiometers and then sending that signal to the other Arduino. So the system for it is quite simple. You'd want to make a little just information batch, that's what I like to call it, of your 5 angle values on your transmitter. You then run it, then you obviously want to have serial. You then begin your radio, you do your stuff, you map the angle values, nothing too complicated. You then add them as your other angle value, and then it all gets transmitted to your receiver. So on your receiver, you define your servos, their pins and everything. You then open up your batch of information that you received from the transmitter. So you attach your servos to the certain pins, that's important obviously. Then your radio starts listening, and then you start reading the data out of your information batch. So after reading that data, I actually discovered there was a little bit of a problem. I don't know if it was the transmitter or something else malfunctioning, but I would occasionally get a value of 0. And so what I decided to do is I actually decided to make a little modification program here. So for every single angle value that there is, if the angle value is less than 59, and just to note that my values go from 60 degrees to 160 degrees. So if there's anything that's smaller than 59, it's going to be completely canceled out. So you can see that if angle value 2, for example, this is for servo motor 2, if it's bigger than 59, it gets written to this other variable that I defined here. And then that gets written. Otherwise, there's no else function for this. It just doesn't run anything, and so the previous value gets used. So that's for all of the 5, and it's really not that complicated. It's a very simple system to build, and that was the code part. And so now I'll be showing you the actual hand and some of its functionalities. So now I'll demonstrate to you the actual functionality of the hand. Yes, this is the hand right here. I'll just pick it up and show it to you. So your 4 fingers on the top, your thumb here. It's quite heavy. Yeah, you can see the hot glue on the sides. It's quite heavy, not too heavy. Should weigh just about at 700 grams, I think, or something like that. mostly the material, I think, density, and just obviously the size, the sheer size of it. So how it works, I essentially need a power source, and for that I use a 9-volt battery. Pretty simple. So how the circuit is organized is that there's 3 servo motors receiving from one potentiometer that you can see here. So there's 5 of them. There's 5 batches of these servo motors, so each representing a finger on my hand. And so then I use the 9-volt battery to power all of them. I don't know if this is not enough voltage, but for me it seems to work pretty well actually. So let me just put my phone down, and then I'm gonna just plug everything in and make sure it works. I attached everything. I just moved the hand a little bit so the finger's down here with the thing back here. 9-volt battery is connected to Arduino. So this is Arduino 1, this is the receiver Arduino. I talked about the code just previously. It's connected to my PC, so it's powering it. I obviously will probably use a power bank in the future. And then I have my transmitter Arduino, so I use a Nano. It's smaller, connected also to my PC for a power supply. And so 9-volt battery essentially powers motors. Arduino, so my computer powers the other stuff. So this is my actual receiver, radio receiver. The other one is the radio transmitter. And so now what should happen is that if I spin one of these potentiometers, the finger should move. There we go. So you can see I spin it and the finger moves. And this works for all of the fingers, so I can just go through all of them right now. Bam and bam. And I can do them faster, I just do not want to. There's no point. And so there and there, and then switching on to this one. Okay, there could be a problem with a servo. Oh, no, there we go. I think it was just not the volt, there was an issue. But yeah, you can see this, no, this finger works perfectly fine. They're completely unbalanced. Now moving on to the thumb. Thumb's a bit more complicated. I might have to work on the design in the future, but essentially it will bump into these others, so that is kind of a problem. But you can see it works just like any other finger. It's a bit less functional than the others, so it's not as practical as the human thumb, as you don't have the perfect movement of your hand, so you can't move it everywhere like that. It can only go like this, so it makes it kind of useless. But yeah, the system is not too complicated in reality. There's not much code going on in the background, just a lot of mapping values to values, and then you have the transmitter and then a receiver. Nothing too complicated. And this is the hand, and wires obviously get connected here. I hot glue them onto the fingers, and so they go behind here and then go under the hand. I'm probably gonna in the future hot glue them onto the back and organize it even more. I'm thinking of making a little stand here, so but hey, I can't say too much because don't want to spoil anything. But yes, so if you enjoyed my video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will hopefully see you in the future when I make some cool upgrades to this hand.